So, there is no doubt that this child, the child of Revelation 12, is Yahushua HaMashiach, nobody else. Because this is what the scripture, this is what the Debar of YaHuWaH teaches us and reveals us, as we have been seeing so far. So, if Yahushua is the child, now the question we need to answer, who is his mother? Who is Yahushua's mother? Because the child, the woman of Revelation 12, is the mother of the child. So, if we already know and understand that this child is Yahushua, we need to understand who is his mother. Because by understanding who is his mother, we will know who is the woman of Revelation 12. So that's the question we will try to answer now. So, by reading the passages and the text, we can believe in two options. The first thing that we can think is that the mother of Yahushua is Miriam. And that's true, because this is what we see in the Debar of YaHuWaH, in the Brit Hadashah, in the so-called wrong-called New Testament. But Miriam cannot be the woman of Revelation 12 for specific reasons. The woman of Revelation 12 is an end time, the Revelation 12 itself is an end time prophecies. So it cannot be that Miriam is going to be the woman that is going to be protected in the wilderness for 1260 days. It cannot be. Okay? And the second reason that Miriam cannot be that woman is because we already saw that there's going to be two groups, the woman that is going to be protected, and the second group is the remnant of the seed of the woman. So how come Miriam, that is known as Mary nowadays, but that's not her name is Miriam. What would be the seed of Miriam that is going to be persecuted by the dragon, the second group? So it cannot be. Miriam cannot be the woman of Revelation 12. Miriam is not the mother of Yahushua that the Revelation 12 is revealing to us. So that's the first option. The second option that we can think, and actually I was part of that camp as I told you at the beginning of the video, is that woman, the mother of Yahushua, could be Israel. And it's quite compelling because the different aspects of Israel being considered a woman throughout the scripture. But the point, and as we will see how directly in the Debar of YaHuWaH, as soon as we understand who is the woman that Israel is not. But one of the points that we can comment now is that how could be Israel the woman of Revelation 12? Because of the second group, the remnant of her seed that is going to be persecuted by the dragon. So how we can answer about who is the remnant of Israel's seed? It's very difficult to answer that, and in order to answer that we need to go through different and several interpretations that most of them are private interpretations and based only on ideas and thoughts of men or women. So we still have this question, who is the mother? Who is the mother of Yahushua? So like always, we need to go to the Debar of YaHuWaH. We need to go to the scripture. And amazingly enough, is Yahushua himself the one that gives us the answer and gives us the first key, because it's not the entire answer that we have in his words. It's just the first key in order to understand part of the identity of the woman. And he is the one giving us an important key to understand the identity of the woman, just telling us who is really his mother. And we find this in the book of Matthew. This is Matthew chapter 12. Matthew chapter 12, verse 46 to 50. And the entire context that we are going to read here is basically Yahushua speaking to a crowd. This is the entire context of the story that we are going to read. So it says, and while he was still talking to the crowds, this is Yahushua talking to the crowds, see, His mother and brothers stood outside seeking to speak with him. So who is that mother and who are those brothers? Are the physical mother and physical brothers of Yahushua during his time on the earth. This is Miriam and Yahushua's brothers, blood brothers. Verse 47. So his mother and his brother are there outside the place that he's talking to the crowds, trying to talk and speak to him. So verse 47, and one said to him, see, your mother and your brothers are standing outside, seeking to speak with you. But he answering, Yahushua answering, said to the one who spoke to him, who is my mother and who are my brothers? This is a very interesting question, and so important question from our Mashiach, Yahushua. Verse 49, and having stretched out his hand toward his taught ones, Yahushua stretched his hand toward the Talmidim, toward the disciples, toward the crowd. He said, see, my mother and my brothers. For whoever does the desire of my Father, who is in the Shamayim, is my brother and sister and mother. So here Yahushua is providing us with the answer, with this amazing and important key. Who is his mother? His mother is a group of people. This group of people that are following the desire of YaHuWaH Elohim. So Yahushua is telling us, for sure a group of people is not his mother, but what he's telling us that a group of people is representing his mother. And this is the key that we need to understand, and it's important that you take note of this key, because you will see later on this study how this key is in complete harmony with what we are going to review. And this is also part of a mystery that we will talk by the end of this study. So Yahushua is telling us that his mother is represented by this group of people, a special group of people that is doing the desire of his Father that is in the Shamayim. And not only his mother, also his brother. And this is also an important point, that this group of people is also representing his brothers. And this is important because we will talk about that in a moment. So we have a second witness about the same story in the book of Lucas. This is Lucas chapter 8. And you know, YaHuWaH is so amazing, and I have to tell you, because before starting to record this video, it was an amazing and tremendous background sound, and now it's totally out. I was praying to him to do that, so he's amazing with us all the time. So it's in the book of Lucas, Luke chapter 8, verse 19 to 21. Okay, and it says the following. And his mother and brothers came to him and were unable to get to him because of the crowd. So they were trying to go, but the crowd was so big, so amazing, so great that they were not able to do it, to go through the crowd. Verse 20, and it was reported to Yahushua, saying, your mother and your brothers are standing outside, wishing to see you. And he answered and said to them, my mother and my brothers are those who are hearing the word of Elohim and doing it. You see, he is providing through the witness of Lucas a second, a more expanded understanding that this special group of people that is representing his mother and also his brothers are not only doing the desire of YaHuWaH Elohim, these people is also the hearing and doing the desire and the word of Elohim. So this is important because it's not only by hearing, it's also by doing. It's not only faith, it's also works. So this group of people is so special because they are always trying to do the desire of YaHuWaH. And how they know how to do the desire of YaHuWaH? because they are hearing the word of YaHuWaH, and they are doing the word of YaHuWaH every time and in every moment of their lives. So this is the important key, and as I told you, take note of that, because Yahushua is telling us that his mother is represented by this group of people. Okay, so in order to expand that understanding, because it's quite difficult in this moment to see how this group of people could be the woman, but it's also somehow interesting because we know that the woman of Revelation 12 will flee to the wilderness. So it's not just one woman. In this case, we can start understanding that it's going to be a group of people that is going to be protected. So these two groups that we already saw, the woman in the first place and the remnant of her seed, that is another group, we can see that the woman is also a group of people based on what Yahushua is telling us. So in order to expand this understanding, we need to take a look on the Tanakh, the so-called, wrongly called as well, Old Testament. And what we need to take a look is in the promise of the child. You know, we already reviewed who is the child, and this child is Yahushua. But we have specific prophecies in the Tanakh that are telling us of the coming of the child. So in order to expand even more the understanding, we need to take a look on those prophecies in order to see a specific and a special point that will help us to understand about this group of people that are representing the woman, the mother of Yahushua. So the first one, we have it in the book of Yeshayahu. This is the book of Isaiah, chapter 9. Yeshayahu, Isaiah chapter 9, verse 6 to 7. Let me read it from verse 1 to 7, just to give a more expanded context. Okay? And it reads, "But there is no gloom upon her who is distressed." This is important because it's talking about a woman in distress. Okay? And somehow it's connecting with the different keys we have been reviewing in the last video, in the last part, in the part number 11, and also in this part of the study. Let's continue. "As when at first he humbled the land of Zebulun and the land of Naphtali, and afterward more heavily oppressed her by the way of the sea beyond the Jordan, in Galilee of the nations. The people who were walking in darkness have seen a great light. Upon those who dwelt in the land of the shadow of death, a light has shone." And we know this is Yahushua. We have the fulfillment of this prophecy in the life of Yahushua HaMashiach, and we can see that in the Besorah, in the Brit Hadashah, in the New Testament. Let's continue, verse 3. "You shall increase the nation, you shall make its joy great. They shall rejoice before you as in the joy of harvest, as men rejoice when they divide the spoil." And this is important because it's talking that the nation is going to be increased. And what's this nation? Keep in mind that what we saw in the previous video is the righteous nation that is going to inherit the promised land. This is related, it's going to happen during the second Exodus. And it's going to be rejoicing and celebrating with joy because of that. Verse 4, "For you shall break the yoke of his burden, and the staff of his shoulder, the rod of his oppressor, as in the day of Midian. For every boot of one trampling in tumult, and coat rolled in blood shall be used for burning and fuel of fire." And here is the promise of a child. For a child, and this is the key, the connector. Here the prophecy is talking about a child, the same child we already discovered previously. "For a child is born unto us, a son is given unto us, and the rule is on his shoulder." So this son is going to be the ruler, as we already saw. Is Yahushua the child? Is Yahushua the son of YaHuWaH? And he received the authority from YaHuWaH to rule over the nation with a rod of iron. This is the connection we are seeing over here. And his name is called Wonder, Counselor, Strong El, Father of Continuity, Prince of Peace, Sar Shalom in Hebrew. Of the increase of his rule and peace there is no end, upon the throne of David and over his reign, to establish it and sustain it with right ruling, with mishpatim, and with righteousness from now on, even forever. The ardor of YaHuWaH Sebaot, YaHuWaH of hosts, does this. So this is the promise of the child. This is the promise of the Son of YaHuWaH that is going to rule the nations, is going to rule the earth, and his throne is going to be an everlasting one, because it's going to endure and it's going to last forever. So this is quite important, because we see here the promise of this child. So let's go to the second one, because we're going to start seeing how this is connected to what we already saw about this group of people being representing the mother of Yahushua, the woman of Revelation 12. So the second witness, the second promise of this child, we see it in the book, in the same book, in the book of YaHuWaH, just 2 chapters before, in the chapter 7. YaHuWaH, Isaiah chapter 7. So just for context, let me read the verse 1 and 2, and then we will jump to the verse 10 to 17. So it says in the verse 1, And it came to be in the days of Ahaz, son of Jotam, son of Uzziyahu, sovereign of YaHuWaH. So he's talking about the king, the sovereign, the Melech of the house of YaHuWaH. That Rezin, sovereign of Aram, and Pekah, son of Remalyahu, sovereign of Israel. So we see the enemies of the house of YaHuWaH, in the case the Arameans, but also joining to them is the house of Israel. Went up to Jerusalem to fight against it, but could not prevail against it. And it was reported to the house of David, saying, Aram has set up camp in Ephraim, and his heart and the heart of his people were moved, as the trees of the forest are moved with the wind. So that's the entire context of when it's going to happen, the promise of this sign. Okay, so the Arameans, together with the house of Israel, going against Jerusalem, going against the house of YaHuWaH. So let's go to the verse 10, and it says, And YaHuWaH spoke again to Ahaz, saying, Ask a sign for yourself from YaHuWaH your Elohim. Make deep the request, or make it high. So YaHuWaH is giving the opportunity to the Melech, to the sovereign, Ahaz, to ask for a sign. And this is important, and we discussed this in the previous part, in the part 10. YaHuWaH created the luminaries to be for signs. This is important because this is also a fulfillment somehow of this prophecy. So let's continue. But Ahaz said, I do not ask nor try YaHuWaH. This is the way we need to think and believe and feel as well. We cannot try YaHuWaH. 13. And he said, Hear now, house of David, is it not enough that you weary men, that you weary my Elohim also? Therefore YaHuWaH himself gives you a sign. And this is the sign. Look, the Alma conceives. And what is the Alma? This is the Hebrew word for virgin or maiden. So let me stop here for a while. It says that the Alma, the virgin, will conceive and gives birth to a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel. So he's talking about what is the sign. Is a virgin giving birth to a son. And who is the son that is being promised, as we already read in the chapter 9, is the child. So we see a virgin giving birth a child. is exactly the same sign that we see in Revelation 12. In this case, the great sign in the Shamayim, an Alma, a Betula, a virgin, a maiden, represented by the constellation of Virgo, a virgin, giving birth. So we see the connection here is basically, and for sure you can, and we will see in the next text that this has already a fulfillment, but all prophecies is having most of the time more than one fulfillment. And also there are representation from the earthly things are representing the heavenly things. This is important that we always keep in mind. So let me read it again. Therefore YaHuWaH himself gives you a sign. Look, the Alma conceives and gives birth to a son, and shall call his name Emmanuel. He eats curds and honey when he knows to refuse evil and choose the good. For therefore the child knows to refuse evil and choose the good. The land that you dread is to be forsaken by both her sovereigns. It's talking about the Arameans and also the house of Israel that are going to be forsaken. YaHuWaH brings on you and your people and your father's house days that have not come since the day that Ephraim turned away from YaHuWaH, the sovereign of Ashur. So we see here that this entire promise of this child that is coming from Virgo, from the Virgin, that is this child that is Emmanuel, and we know this child is Yahushua already, and Emmanuel means Elohim, El is with us, is talking about the end times, because this child is the one that is going to bring peace like Israel never saw, even before the days that they were united. This is really important because this is also connected to the third witness that I'm going to share with you. But before that, let's go and review the fulfillment of this prophecy. And this is in the book of YaHuWaH. And as I told you, this is the first fulfillment of this prophecy. And why is the first fulfillment? We will see it here. This is in YaHuWaH, Matthew chapter 1, verse 20 to 23. And it says the following: But while he thought about this, and he's talking about Joseph, the husband of Miriam. But while he thought about this, see, a messenger of YaHuWaH appeared to him in a dream, saying, Joseph, son of David, do not be afraid to take Miriam as your wife, for that which is in her was brought forth from the set-apart spirit, from the Ruach HaKodesh. And he shall give birth to a son. Again, Miriam is the first fulfillment of this prophecy that we already saw. She shall give birth a son, and you shall call his name Yahushua, for he shall save his people from their sins. And all this came to be in order to fulfill what was spoken by YaHuWaH through the prophet, saying, and this is the relationship with what we already saw in the book of Yeshayahu. And it says, see, an Alma shall conceive, and she shall give birth to a son, and they shall call his name Emmanuel, which translated means Elohim is with us. So here we see the fulfillment of this prophecy, of this promise of this child. So we already talked and we already discussed that Miriam cannot be the woman of Revelation 12. So that's why we see here that Miriam is the first fulfillment of this prophecy on Yeshayahu. But it's not the mother, it's not the virgin that we are seeing in Revelation 12. And also somehow it's not the virgin that we are seeing in Yeshayahu. It's just the fulfillment of the prophecy, because the earthly matters are a representation of the heavenly matters. And you will understand this, what I'm talking now, when we will move forward in this study about the heavenly matters. Okay, so let's go to the third witness, where we see the promise of this child. And this one is so amazing because it's connecting different keys that we have been reviewing since the last part 11, even during this study so far. So this is so important, and we will see something that it will help us to move ahead to the next topic we will review. But before that, let me point out a specific topic that is important to mention. That this woman that is bringing forth this child is mentioned and is considered a virgin, a maiden. And why this is so important, we are not gonna go deeper on the details, but it's important that you take care of this and you take note of this, that this woman being a virgin is somehow a prerequisite in order for be taken by the Kohen Gadol. The Kohen Gadol can take only a virgin, okay? And we know that Yahushua is our Kohen Gadol, our high priest. So there's an important connection. This woman being a maiden, being a virgin. And this is also part of the secret, it's part of the mystery that we are going to discuss by the end of this study, okay? And about this relationship we will discuss in a new study about Yahushua being the Kohen Gadol. So let's go to the third witness that I told you in the book of Micah. This is Micah. Micah verse 5 from verse 1 to 6. And this is very important. As I told you, we will see different keys coming together, okay? So it says, "Now you are raided, O daughter of raiders. A siege has been laid against us." This is also something important. It's a siege. Remember who is going to be besieged. "They strike the judge of Israel with a rod on the cheek." And we know who is the judge of Israel is Yahushua. He is the judge, okay? "But you," and this is the promise of the child, "but you, Bethlehem Ephratah, you who are little among the clans of YaHuWaH, out of you shall come forth to me the one to become ruler in Israel, and his coming forth are of all from everlasting." So here we see that this is the promise of the coming of the ruler. From where? From Bethlehem Ephratah. This is within the clan of YaHuWaH. So it's important because here we are seeing the connection between the promised child that is going to be the ruler, the son of YaHuWaH, the ruler of the world, the nations, the earth, and his throne and his reign is going to be an everlasting one. And we see here that this is the ruler that we are seeing here in the book of Micah. So this is the connection that we need to see through the three witnesses about the promise of this child. But let's continue, because what we are going to see here in the verse 3 is very, very important. And it says, "Therefore, he," who is the he? The ruler, the child, the son, Yahushua, "he shall give them up." The ruler, Yahushua, will give them up. Give them up who? Let's continue reading because there is the answer. "Until the time that she who is in labor has given birth." So this is quite amazing because it's giving us an additional answer that Yahushua, we already saw that Yahushua is the one that was caught away to the Shamayim. And what we are seeing here is that Yahushua is give them up. Give them up who? Let me read it. Is give them up until the time that she who is in labor has given birth, and the remnant of his brothers return to the children of Israel. So he's giving up his brother and the remnant of his brother and the children of Israel. And what is the connection? That Yahushua was caught away. And what we are seeing here directly by reading the Debar of YaHuWaH, that he's giving them away until the moment, giving them away, the remnant, his brothers, until the moment of the woman enter in labor and give birth. So all this period of time, the scripture, the Debar of YaHuWaH, is telling us that Yahushua is giving his brother, the children of YaHuWaH, up. So that's why it's so important, the sign of this woman in labor of revelation. So let me read it again just to point it again some important aspects. So therefore he shall give them up until the time that she who is in labor has given birth. So this woman that is going to enter in labor needs to give birth. Is the woman that gave birth to a child. We already saw that, and we will see it later on. But it's also this woman needs to give birth to the remnant of his brothers. So this child, that is Yahushua, is also having brothers. And this is what we see here. So is this woman somehow that we see a kind of connection? Is the same woman that brought forth the child that is going to bring forth children. It's not directly said here. You can say it's an interpretation. Yes, so far it's an interpretation, but it's important you take note of this, because we will see it later on how the scripture, the Debar of YaHuWaH, is giving us the same answer and is giving it directly the interpretation, but not doing own interpretation just by reading the Debar of YaHuWaH. So he's having brothers, the children of Israel, the remnant. And you remember, the remnant of her seed is the group that is going to be persecuted by the dragon. And also, when it's saying here that and the remnant of his brother returned to the children of Israel, is talking about the second Exodus, the return of the children from the four corners of the earth to the promised land. So let's go to verse 4. And he shall stand and shepherd, who? The ruler, Yahushua, shepherd all the nations. He is the shepherd of all the nation, in the strength of YaHuWaH, because YaHuWaH gave him the authority, in the excellency of the name of YaHuWaH, his Elohim. And they shall dwell, for at that time he shall be great to the ends of the earth. And we know that this is a prophecy, this is a promise of the end times. As soon the Malchut Shamayim, the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of YaHuWaH, is established on the earth by Yahushua HaMashiach. And it says in the 5, and this shall be peace when Ashur is Assyria, comes into our land, and when he treads in our palaces, we shall raised against him 7 shepherds and 8 leaders of men, and they shall shepherd the land of Ashur with the sword, and the land of Nimrod at its entrances. And he shall deliver us from Ashur when he comes into our land, and when he treads within our border. So we see here an important connection, and this is a totally separate topic. It's talking about Ashur, Assyria. It's talking about Nimrod, that they are going to come to the land, and Yahushua, the ruler, is going to save them from Ashur and from Nimrod. And why this is a totally separate topic? Because Nimrod and Ashur are directly connected to the system of the beast and what's going to happen on the end times. So take your notes. This is going to be a part of a totally different study, but it's important that we see those connections and those keys. So coming back to the topic that we are discussing and studying now, what's the important aspect that I want to highlight and what we have been seeing so far? That Yahushua is referring that his mother is a group of people, is represented by a group of people. And what we already saw, that in this promise of this child, we have been discovering that the same woman that brought forth or gave birth to the son, to the child that is Yahushua, is also seems to have more children that are called the brothers, that Yahushua is given up until this woman is given birth again. So again, you can say this is an interpretation and it's okay, but let's continue. And how we can continue this, I want to focus in this moment about these children, and it's about the children of Elohim, in order to see this important connection. So when we talk about the children of Elohim or the sons of Elohim, it's basically talking about who are those brothers of Yahushua, and we already have some answers, but let's go step by step. So the first thing that I want to talk and check with you is about the son of Elohim. It's about this promised child, this promised son. Who is this son? We already know is Yahushua, but let's see it with this proper title. And we find a witness in the book of YaHuWaH. This is the book of John. And this story is so amazing. Every time that I read it, I feel something so special in my heart, because when you read the entire story, it's so beautiful. So let's go. This is YaHuWaH, John chapter 9, verse 35 and 37. And this is the story of a blind man that is being healed by Yahushua. Okay, so in the verse 36, we see this man that is already healed by Yahushua. Basically in the street, in the open places, because he was interrogated by the elders and the priest. So it reads the following: Yahushua heard that they had cast him out. So Yahushua learned that the priest and the elder cast this man out. And when he had found him, so Yahushua went and tried to find this guy, this person, this man. So Yahushua, he said to him, "Do you believe in the Son of Elohim?" Yahushua is asking to this man that received the sight, "Do you believe in the Son of Elohim?" And this man answered to Yahushua by saying in the verse 36, he answered and said, "Who is he, Master, that I might believe in him?" This is the heart that we need to have all the time. That's the way that we need to be humble before YaHuWaH. And it says in the verse 37, and Yahushua said to him, Yahushua is answering his question, "You have both seen him, and he who speaks with you is he." So Yahushua is answering to this man, saying that I am the Son of Elohim. So we see and we know, but all of us knows that Yahushua is the Son of Elohim. But in order to make the point, it's important that we read it directly from the Debar of YaHuWaH, our source of truth. So the important aspect, and again, the focus that we are seeing is on the brothers, this group of people, the children and the brothers of Yahushua. So the scripture is teaching us that through Yahushua we also become children, sons of Elohim. So here is the moment that we start seeing additional connections. And the first witness for that, we see it in the same book, in the book of YaHuWaH and the book of John, chapter 1, verse 12 to 13. And it says the following: "But as many as received him, to them he, Yahushua, gave the authority to become children of Elohim." So Yahushua is giving different kind of authorities to us, those that are being redeemed by him. You see, he's giving the promise to give authority over the nation, but now we read here that he is the one giving the authority to become children of Elohim to those believing in his name. So those that are believing in the name, in the Shem of Yahushua HaMashiach, they are receiving authority directly from Yahushua HaMashiach to become children of Elohim. And here we see the remnant, and the connection is the son and the other children of the woman. Okay? But in this case, we don't see the woman yet. It's the children of Elohim. Let's continue. "Who were born not of blood, nor of the desire of flesh, nor of the desire of man, but of Elohim." And this is very important, and you need to take note of this. Those children, likewise the Son, in the same way that the Son, are not coming from the desire of man, of flesh, of our blood. They are coming by the desire of YaHuWaH Elohim. So here we see somehow what we have been reviewing so far, that again, Miriam cannot be the woman, because this is not a physical birth. And this is very amazing, because we will discuss later on the study, because this is so related to being born again, when Yahushua was speaking to Nicodemus, to Nichdemon. So again, this son and these children are being birthed not by flesh, blood, or man, are being birthed and being born by the desire of YaHuWaH Elohim. This is very important, because we will see it later on this study, how this important information is in harmony and is providing additional light to what we are studying. Okay? So this is related to the new birth, to be born again. So let's go to the second witness about the sons of Elohim, that we can be sons of Elohim. So this we find it in the book of YaHuWaH Aleph. This is 1 John. YaHuWaH Aleph, 1 John, chapter 3, verse 1. And it says the following: "See what love the Father has given us, that we should be called children of Elohim. For this reason, the world does not know us, because it did not know Him." So, it's because of the desire and the love of the Father that we can become children of Elohim, children of YaHuWaH. So, what we are seeing here, what's the pattern and what's the connection? As Yahushua is the son of Elohim, as Yahushua is the son of YaHuWaH, we are also the sons, the children of YaHuWaH Elohim, because of the authority that we receive through Yahushua only by believing in His name. And we are sons of YaHuWaH, sons of Elohim, not through a physical birth. We are His children through the new birth, being born again in water and in Ruach, in spirit, because of His desire and because of His love. So here we see that Yahushua and us are brothers. We are having the same Father. So the third witness, and we will discuss about this, that we are brothers with Yahushua. But before that, the third witness we have is in the book of Galatians. This is Galatians. Galatians verse 3, chapter 3, verse 26. And it says the following: "For you are all sons of Elohim through the belief, the emunah, in Yahushua HaMashiach." So Shaul is just reinforcing the concept, is reinforcing this truth that we are sons, we are children of Elohim through the belief, the emunah, in Yahushua HaMashiach, through believing in His name. So this is very important, because we are seeing this group of people representing His mother and also His brothers, the brothers of Yahushua. Those are following the desire and the word of YaHuWaH Elohim. We see the connection of these promises of the child, and how Yahushua is referring to that He's going to give His brother up until the time of the woman that needs to be labored and give birth. So it seems, as we discussed already, that it's implying the promise that it could be this woman is also the same mother of the son, Yahushua, and the children. But what we are seeing here, that Yahushua and us are brothers, and we have the same Father, YaHuWaH Elohim. Okay, so let's read this about Yahushua being our brother. And no matter that we are saying that Yahushua is our brother, we are not saying and we are not denying that He is our Savior, that He is our Melech, our King, that He is our Elohim. Not at all, because He Himself referred to Himself as our brother, and we will see that. And we already saw that in the book of Micha. But let's go to some additional witness, and this is in the book of Matthew, chapter 28. Matthew chapter 28, verse 10. And this is after Yahushua's resurrection. He's talking to some of the disciples, the Talmidim, that went there to the sepulchre and saw Yahushua being already resurrected. This is the dialogue that we're going to see. So it says, "Then Yahushua said to them," to this Talmidim, "Do not be afraid." And listen to this: "Go report to my brothers to go to Galilee, and they shall see me there." So Yahushua is saying to this Talmidim, to this disciple, go and report all of this about my resurrection to my brothers. And who is referring to? He's referring to his Talmidim, his taught ones, his disciple. Go and tell them, to my brothers, that I am resurrected. Go to Galilee. I will see you there. So Yahushua is referring to us as his brothers. And who are his brothers? Is also a group of people. You see here the connection, a group of people being the mother and a group of people being his brothers. Okay? So let's go to YaHuWaH, the book of John, for a second witness. YaHuWaH, John chapter 20, verse 17. And it says the following. Yahushua said to her, and also this is after his resurrection, and this story is talking with Miriam. Miriam went there too, and she saw Yahushua resurrected. So Yahushua is telling her in the verse 17, Yahushua said to her, do not hold on to me, for I have not yet ascended to my Father. And this is really important, not what we are going to read, because he's saying, but go to my brothers. Again, Yahushua referring to his Talmidim and his brothers, and say to them, and this is quite important what Yahushua is saying, what she needs to say to the disciples. I am ascending to my Father and your Father, and to my Elohim and your Elohim. So Yahushua again is referring to his disciple, and we are part of his disciple because we can become children of Elohim as well by believing in his name. I'm going to my Father, but he's also your Father. We are having exactly the same Father, and this is YaHuWaH Eloheinu, YaHuWaH our Elohim. So what we see here, a direct confirmation that we have the same Father. But we also see an implication, somehow implied on the text, that we are having also the same mother. So the mother of the child, the mother of Yahushua, that is the woman of Revelation 12, seems to be the mother of many children. And those children are the brother of Yahushua. And we will take note of that because we will start seeing now, just in a moment, how the Debar of YaHuWaH is revealing us this truth. But the important thing that also I want to highlight now, that if we are having one Father, the same Father, that is YaHuWaH Elohim, and it seems that we are having the same mother, and even so, if we don't have the same mother, but it's where we already saw that we are having the same mother, it means that there is a relationship between YaHuWaH and this mother, this woman. There is a relationship between YaHuWaH and the woman in Revelation 12. And it seems to be, more than seems to be, it is a relationship, a marriage relationship. Okay? This is also very important because I'm going to expand in this understanding. Later in the study we will see it, but also we will talk about this important topic when we study about who really Babel is, who is Babylon. We will study about this relationship between YaHuWaH and also the woman when we understand who really is Babylon. And I already shared with you in the previous part, in the part 11, that by studying the Debar of YaHuWaH, we are able to get to the understanding that when we speak about Babylon, when we speak and we talk about Babel, the Debar of YaHuWaH is talking about two women. One is the mother, the great Babylon, that most of the people are referring to as Mystery Babylon or Mystery Babel. That's Babylon or Babel the Great. This is the first woman. And the second woman is the daughter of Babel, the daughter of Babylon. They are two different women. So it's very important, and we will discuss about this topic when we study about who is Babel. And in that study, as I told you already, we will see and we will expand even more in the understanding of who really is Babel. And most probably, throughout this study, you are going to start seeing the answer to that question. But again, we will discuss about that in a specific study as part of this series. Okay? So, So far, we have laid an important foundation. We have been seeing and we have been confirming who is the child of Revelation 12, and we know this is Yahushua. We have been receiving important foundations and keys directly from Yahushua, that his mother is a group of people following the desire and doing and hearing and doing the Debar of YaHuWaH, and also is having brothers, that also is a group of people also doing, hearing and doing the desire and the word of the YaHuWaH Elohim. And also, as part of this promise of the child, we already saw somehow that we can have the same mother. So and we saw already that we have the same father as well as YaHuWaH Elohim. So with all this foundation, now we are prepared in order to dig deeper on the Debar of YaHuWaH in order to understand and discover the identity of the woman. So far, we don't know who is the woman. We have been laying this foundation, but we don't know who is the woman. And now is the time that we need to go and discover the identity of the mother. The identity of the mother of Yahushua, the identity of the mother of the child. So, and we are going to start taking a look and so amazing and powerful things. So the first witness for that, and this is an important, very important one, because we will see so important aspects. We will find it in the book of YaHuWaH. This is the book of Isaiah, YaHuWaH. Chapter 66. YaHuWaH, chapter 66. And you know, maybe you already heard that there is a lot of interpretation about this chapter of YaHuWaH. We will expand our understanding now that we're going to read it, with all the foundation that we already have. So it's the book of Sefer YaHuWaH, book of Isaiah, chapter 66, and we will read it completely from the verse 1 to the verse 24. Okay? So it says the following: Thus said YaHuWaH, the heavens, the Shamayim, are my throne, and the earth is my footstool. Where is this house that you built for me? And where is this place of my rest? He's asking for his Hechal. He's not able to find the Hechal. The Hechal is not in his place. And this is exactly the time that we're living now. Let's continue, verse 2. And all this my hand has made, and all this that exists, declares YaHuWaH. Yet to such a one I look, on him who is poor and bruised of ruach, of spirit, and who trembles at my word. So we see here the connections we already saw already. You see, we see here is that the children that are coming by the desire of YaHuWaH. We see the answers from Yahushua. Who are his mother and his brothers? Those that are hearing and doing the word of YaHuWaH. And what we see here, that YaHuWaH is looking into those ones that trembles at his word. You see the connection? It's quite amazing. Let's continue, verse 3. But whoever slays the bull strikes a man. Whoever slaughters the lamb breaks a dog's neck. Whoever brings a grain offering pig's blood. Whoever burns incense blesses an idol. Indeed, they have chosen their own ways, and their being delights in their abomination. What we see here is basically people trying to follow their own justice, their own righteousness, apparenting or trying they're pretending basically to follow the righteousness of YaHuWaH, but in behind they're practicing unrighteousness and lawlessness. It's the same that Yahushua was complaining and criticizing on the Pharisees, that they were following their own righteousness, but not following the righteousness of YaHuWaH Elohim. Okay, let's continue verse 4. I shall also choose their punishments, and bring their fears on them, because I called, but no one answered. I spoke, and they did not hear, and they did evil before my eyes, and chose what was displeasing to me. You see the difference? People following lawlessness and righteousness, and another group of people following the righteousness of YaHuWaH, looking and trying to do his desire all the time, and trying to do what is right on the eyes of YaHuWaH, doing his desires and his will. And how we do that? By practicing his righteousness in every aspect of our life. So that's why YaHuWaH, as we already saw, is bringing punishment. He's coming to clean the world. This is what he's gonna come do. That's why he's bringing his wrath, in order to cleanse the world. Let's continue. Verse 5. Hear the word of YaHuWaH, you who tremble at his word, your brothers who hate you, who cast you out for my name's sake, said, let YaHuWaH be esteemed, so that we see your joy, but they are put to shame. We hear two kind of brothers. Few brothers that are following the will and following the Debar of YaHuWaH, and another group of brothers that are hating this first group, but they are practicing lawlessness. Important to see these aspects, thinking on Revelation 12 and thinking on what's going to happen with these two groups of people on the end times. Let's continue. Verse 6. A roaring sound from the city, a voice from the Hechal, the voice of YaHuWaH repaying his enemies. Listen to this, because this is very important. Before she labored, is talking about a woman, she gave birth. Let's read it completely. Before a pain came to her, she was delivered of a male child. So we see the same keys and the same connectors that we already saw in Revelation 12. A woman giving birth, a woman that is going to be in labor, and also a woman that is going to bring forth a male child. But what's the difference between what we are reading here to what we already saw in Revelation 12? It's saying here that before she labored, she gave birth. This woman gave birth to the male child before she entered in labor. Okay? And it says, before pain to her, she was delivered of a male child. Before this woman entered in labor, before any pain came to her, she delivered what she delivered? She delivered the male child. And who is the male child? Is the same male child that we see in Revelation 12. And it's the same male child that we already discovered directly from the Debar of YaHuWaH, that this male child is Yahushua. So this woman that we see over here is talking about the same woman, is talking about the mother of Yahushua, is the mother of Yahushua, that she brought forth the child Yahushua before entering in labor and before any pain came to her. And you know, this is so amazing and so important, because this is, I'm gonna explain in a moment, is basically revealing to us two phases. A first step, when this woman brought forth this child before she entered into labor. And we already saw that this sign on Revelation 12 is talking about a woman in labor and is ready to give birth. Okay? And when we see this sign in the Shamayim, understanding this is a constellation of Virgo, when we do the analysis on when Yahushua was born, you see that there is something related to the same constellation of Virgo. I don't have it here on hand, but you can take a look on this in Stellarium. And there is very different studies talking about that. Is something happened on the same constellation between this wandering star Jupiter and the main star, the brighter star in the constellation of Leo, is Regulus. Both of them were very close together, and they were giving this aspect of a bright star. But it's the same constellation, Virgo and Leo, that are somehow related to the sign of the Alma will conceive. that we already saw. The virgin will conceive, that is related to the woman. But this woman, the sign that happened when Yahushua was born, this wandering star wasn't in the womb of this constellation. So somehow it's connected to what we are seeing here. A sign, a woman that didn't enter into labor, but she gave birth anyway to the sun. It's important you see these connections, and it's important you connect those keys. Why? Because why we are talking about two phases. Let's continue in the verse 8. The first phase was this woman giving birth to the child before any pain. Verse 8. Who has heard the like of this? Who has seen the like of this? Is a land brought forth in one day? Is a nation born at once? And let me stop here, because there is a lot of people that are taking this verse totally out of context and trying to use it to explain that this nation being born at once is the birth of the nation of Israel, to the state of Israel, the country that is in the map, basically the country Israel. But this is not what we are seeing here. It's not what the Debar of YaHuWaH is revealing to us. This is totally out of context, because what is that nation that is referring here? Is the only nation that the Debar of YaHuWaH has been telling us all the time. And what is that nation? Is the righteous nation that is going to be born again. Is the righteous nations that is going to inherit the land, that we saw it in the previous part. Is the righteous nations that will go as part of the second Exodus in order to inherit the promised land. This is the nation that is going to born at once, that we see over here. Let's continue reading, because it's going to be quite easy and clear to see it. So let me read it again. Who has heard this, the like of this? Who has seen the like of this? Is a land brought forth in one day? Is a nation born at once? And listen, for as soon as Zion labored, she gave birth to her children. So here we have an amazing answer. We have two answers here. Basically, here we see that who is that woman that wasn't in labor at the beginning in the first phase, but anyway she gave birth to the child, to Yahushua. Who is that woman? Is Zion. Because it's written here, it's not my interpretation, it's what is written in the Debar of YaHuWaH. For as soon as Zion labored, is the same woman, okay? But now this woman that it wasn't in labor in the first phase, now in the second phase she entered in labor. And why? Because now she entered in labor, she gave birth to her children. You see, this is the confirmation that is the same woman, the mother of Yahushua. The same woman is the mother of many children. So here we have the two phases. The first phase, the woman giving birth to a child, to Yahushua. And now, as soon as she entered in labor, what she's going to give birth on the end times, in our times as part of Revelation 12, she's going to give birth to her children. And these children are the nation that is going to get born at once. Nothing to do with the country of Israel, nothing to do with anybody else. It has to do with the righteous nations, with the children of this woman. And this woman, amazingly, what we are seeing, the first answer in the Debar of YaHuWaH, that this woman, the mother of the child and the mother of the children, is Zion. But who is Zion? Let's continue reading, because this is quite amazing. We will see who is Zion. So let's continue in the verse 9. Shall I bring to birth and not give delivery? Says YaHuWaH. Shall I who give delivery restrain birth? Said your Elohim. And we already discussed this in the part 11. Anyway, that no matter that Ephraim will say, I just give birth to women, Nothing has changed. Even the nations stay in the same way that it was in the past. No matter that Ephraim is saying that YaHuWaH will bring forth the children, he will bring forth the child through the woman, the mother of us all, is going to bring forth the child, the children, and the nation. And here we have the answer of who is Sion, and we will expand this understanding later in this study. Verse 10, rejoice with Jerusalem, and be glad with her, all you who love her. Rejoice greatly with her, all you who mourn for her. So now, YaHuWaH, through Yeshayahu, is talking about Jerusalem. After he mentions Sion being the woman, he's talking about Jerusalem. So is there a connection between Sion and Jerusalem? Yes, it is. Let's continue reading. Verse 11, so that you feed and shall be satisfied with the breast of her comforts, so that you drink deeply and shall delight yourself in her overflowing stream. So he's talking about the breast of her comforts. He's saying that Jerusalem is the mother, and she's going to comfort with her breast to her children. So you see, the mother, Sion, is the mother. Sion is the woman. It is exactly the same to say that is Jerusalem. Jerusalem is the mother. Jerusalem is the woman of Revelation 12. So let's continue, verse 12. For thus said YaHuWaH, see, I extending peace to her like a river, and the stream of the nations like a flowing stream. And you shall feed, you shall be carried on the side, and be fondled on her knees, in the knees of Jerusalem, of the mother. And listen to verse 13. As one who his mother comforts, so I comfort you, and in Jerusalem you are comforted. This is an additional confirmation in the same chapter, that YaHuWaH is gonna comfort us like a mother. Okay? This is the way that he's going to comfort his children, the nation. And he's saying that in Jerusalem you are comforted. So he is telling us directly that the comfort that he's going to provide to us, he's going to do it through Jerusalem, because in Jerusalem we are comforted. And he's going to comfort us like a mother. And since he's going to do it through Jerusalem, Jerusalem again, he's telling us that Jerusalem is the mother. Jerusalem is our mother. Jerusalem is the woman of Revelation 12. Jerusalem is the mother of the child, and Jerusalem is the mother of the children, the righteous nation. Okay? And it is important, because we already discussed, and I told you that we will expand this understanding in another study, that if Jerusalem is the mother, it means that Jerusalem has a marriage relationship with YaHuWaH, the Father. Okay? YaHuWaH is our Father. Jerusalem is our mother. Let's continue. And you shall see, and your heart shall rejoice, and your bones flourish as tender grass. And the hand of YaHuWaH shall be known to his servants, and his displeasure to his enemies. For look, YaHuWaH comes with fire and with his chariots, like a whirlwind, to render his displeasure with burning and his rebuke with flames of fire. It's talking about end times prophecies about the day of wrath of YaHuWaH. For by fire and by his sword YaHuWaH shall judge all flesh, and the slain of YaHuWaH shall be many. And we know that when Yahushua will come in his second coming, there is a tremendous sword that is coming on his mouth. It's written in Revelation. And this is the sword of YaHuWaH, is the moment of his wrath. Those who set themselves apart and cleanse themselves at the gardens after one in the midst, eating flesh of pigs, and the abomination and the mouse are snatched away together, this declares YaHuWaH. He is coming to cleanse the earth. He is coming to clean his creation. He is gonna take everything that is unclean, everything that is unrighteous out of this world, because the earth belongs to YaHuWaH. So what he's gonna do, he's gonna bring everything back to the original design of his creation, where everything is clean, everything is righteous. That's what he's gonna do, and why this is the reason of his displeasure and his wrath, because of the uncleanness and because of the unrighteousness and the lawlessness of the world. That's why we need to follow his path. That's why we need to follow his word. That's why we need to follow the step of Yahushua HaMashiach in order to live our lives, the lives that YaHuWaH is given to us, according to his righteousness, according to his Torah, according to his laws, according to his love. Hallelujah. Let's continue, verse 18. And I, because of their works and their imaginations, am coming to gather all nations and tongues, and they shall come and see my esteem, the kavod of YaHuWaH through Yahushua. And there are so many parables talking about that, Yahushua bringing the nations like a flock. Verse 19, and I shall set a sign among them, and shall send some of those who escape to the nations, Tarshish and Pul and Lud, who draw the bow, and Tubal and Yawan, the coastlands afar off, who have not heard my report, nor seen my esteem, and they shall declare my esteem among the nations, and they shall bring all your brothers as an offering to YaHuWaH out of all the nations, talking about the brothers, the children of YaHuWaH, the children of the mother, the children and the brothers of Yahushua HaMashiach, on horses and in chariots and in litters, on mules and on camels, to my set apart mountain, to Jerusalem. Again, talking that everybody's going to Jerusalem. And this is directly related to the second Exodus, when the righteous nations is going to the promised land, is coming back to the mother, is coming back to Jerusalem in order to be comforted by YaHuWaH. As soon as the mother bring forth the children, as soon as the nation is born again, they are going to come as the righteous nations to the promised land, to the mother, to Jerusalem, in order to be comforted, declares YaHuWaH. As the children of Israel bring an offering in a clean vessel into the house of YaHuWaH. And from them too I shall take from priests for Levites, declares YaHuWaH. And this is so important, and take note of this, because from that righteous nation, from those people that is going to be part of the second Exodus, YaHuWaH is saying that from them too, he's going to take for Kohenim, for priests, and for Levites. And why this is so important? Because when we talk that this mother is a group of people, and now we see that the mother is Jerusalem, we need to make the connection between both. The group of people being the mother of Yahushua, and Jerusalem being the mother of Yahushua and the mother of the children. So we will see when we do this connection later on this study, the important aspect that even from these people, he's going to take for priests and Levites, and this is connected to the group of people that are representing the mother, representing Jerusalem. Okay, take the notes of that, because we will see it in a moment later on this study. Verse 22, for as the new Shamayim and the new earth that I make stand before me, declares YaHuWaH, so your seed and your name shall stand. And it shall be that from new moon to new moon, this is a wrong translation, is from Chodesh to Chodesh, and from Shabbat to Shabbat, all flesh shall come to worship before me. And where we are going to worship YaHuWaH? In the city that he decided to put his name on, in Jerusalem, the mother of Yahushua and the mother of us all. Verse 24, and they shall go forth and look upon the corpses of the men who have transgressed against me, for their worm shall not die, and their fire not be quenched, and they shall be repulsive to all flesh. So we see this amazing end times prophecy, but the most important topic that we see the first witness in order to understand and discover the identity of the woman, the mother of the child and the mother of the children. This woman of Revelation 12 is Jerusalem, that is being represented by a group of people, and we will see and we will understand this later on this study. But we see that is Jerusalem, the mother, and we see an amazing truth, an amazing light, that this happened in two phases. One phase that she gave birth to the son, when she were not in labor and not in pain. And this was the moment when Yahushua was born. Important to see it. And the second phase, in when she's gonna be in labor and she's gonna give birth to her children, is the moment when the righteous nation is gonna get born. Is the moment when the second Exodus will start. So everything that we see in Revelation 12 is indicating us that this birth, the birth of the children of this woman that is in labor, is coming. This is basically what we are seeing over here. So who is this woman that is going to escape into the wilderness? Is this woman is Jerusalem. Is the group of people representing Jerusalem somehow. This is the part that we are already not seeing, but we will see later on this study. But the most important aspect that we see directly from the Debar of YaHuWaH, the first witness to understand the identity of the woman. And this woman is Jerusalem.